Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Canadian Prairie. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. So take a look at temperatures across the region, generally in the mid to lower teens across the Prairie, highest in the west, Winnipeg, or highest in the east, Winnipeg with a 17-degree reading here at 6 o'clock this morning, back to the lower teens as you head off towards portions of central and northern Alberta. So we take a look at the satellite picture. Again, we've got a storm system, another storm system digging in across the Prairie. We continue to be very active with regard to the jet stream across our region, but you see that counterclockwise swirl digging into the Prairie. It's out in advance of that we expect to see thunderstorms developing later on today. Threat for some severe weather across southern portions of Manitoba back into portions of the northern plains. We've got cooler air coming in on the backside, and it's going to be on the cool side as we head into the coming week. Of course, cool by mid to late July standards. Not going to be cold across the region, but we're looking at 5 to 6 days of temperatures being several degrees cooler than average across the Prairie on the backside of that storm system. As we take a look at the radar picture here, scattered showers, a few thunderstorms are found across the Prairie as the storm system is making its way across the region. Just about everyone's going to see at least scattered rain chances as we head through the next several days with this area of low pressure kind of parking itself across the region. The best threat for heavier thunderstorm activity is going to be off to the east as we head through the next 48 hours. Let's take a look at the high-resolution NAM model, just quickly taking it through the weekend. Again, we'll look for the threat for more widespread, heavier precipitation north of Highway 16, and then that threat for heavier thunderstorm activity as you head off to the east. So this afternoon and evening, we'll be watching for, again, the showers and storms north of Highway 16, a chance for a couple of showers back to the west, but as we head through the mid-afternoon hours, my concern is across southern portions of Manitoba, over toward the Winnipeg area later this evening, back across the U.S. border into portions of North Dakota, looking for scattered strong storms producing maybe a tornado or two, but I think the bigger concern where these storms happen will be some significant wind damage as they quickly move from west to east across the region. We'll take the drawing off there and then head through the weekend. You can see this area of low pressure just begin to spin across the region with clouds and showers lingering across each of the provinces here across the Prairie as we head through Saturday afternoon. The threat shifts off to the east as we head into Sunday, but we get a renewed chance across the west late in the day Sunday. Another little clipper making its way across the region, bringing the chance for, again, just some light shower activity to the region. Much of the heavier thunderstorm activity for the next few days going to be found across the central plains of the United States. Now, speaking specifically to today's severe weather threat across southern Manitoba, here's a look at the high-resolution rapid refresh, our most detailed, frequently running weather model. We're looking at the simulated reflectivity, so what this model thinks the radar reflectivity will look like as we head through the day. Getting into around 5 p.m. this evening, that's when we'll see those scattered storms beginning to pop up again across this corridor, producing at times some significant wind damage. The threat higher as you get closer to the U.S. border. So as you get further to the north, the threat really gets diminished. The threat really going to be peaking across eastern North Dakota into northwestern Minnesota. But again, southern portions of Manitoba on the northern end of that threat. Be on the lookout for maybe a tornado or two, but primarily if you get those storms, your biggest hazard likely going to be some damaging wind gusts. So again, we can take a look at the instability as we head through this afternoon. The reason for the thunderstorm threat across the east is because we get that stronger instability nosing into the region. Of course, the concern highest across the northern plains of the U.S., where we get the extreme instability combined with those strong upper-level jet stream winds. So a widespread severe weather threat across the northern plains of the U.S., but still at least seeing a marginal extension of that threat into southern portions of Manitoba. As we head through the rest of the weekend then, looking at total precipitation between now and midday on Monday, you see heaviest north of Highway 16. That's where you get the extended, more widespread shower activity. You head south across Highway 16, down across the main ag belt here across the Canadian Prairie. We're looking at scattered precipitation opportunities. Some will be dry, some will get some downpours from some of these thunderstorms, but generally uneven distribution of precipitation across the Prairie over the next few days. Now, as we head into the weekend and early next week, we'll see this trough beginning to deepen across the region. This is going to be the reason for the cool down as we head into the coming work week, at least the first half of the work week. I say that because as we head deeper into the week, we'll see this trough moving off to the east. We're going to see another trough beginning to deepen here across the Pacific coast. And that's going to force some ridging into the Canadian Prairie, and this will allow for a warm-up as we get into the back half of the work week into the end of the week, the coming week here, right around July 23rd through the 26th, potentially looking at quite a big warm-up here across the Prairie. So we'll look finally at the precipitation forecast as we head through the next 7 days, the European model here. Our area of low pressure right now sitting across northern Saskatchewan with that front extending off to the south there. A warm and unstable air mass across southern Manitoba into the northern plains. That brings the threat for severe thunderstorms across this region late in the day today. This will be Friday. And then north of that, north of Highway 16, we get the more widespread, steady rain activity. Much less severe, but a little bit more widespread, more evenly distributed as you head off to the north. The area of low pressure just continues to spin across the region and slowly move off to the east, leaving a frontal boundary kind of stalled across this region. That's going to allow the chance for showers to pop up each afternoon and evening here across the prairie, bringing at least low opportunities for precipitation each day as we head through the rest of the weekend into early next week. We're looking at Monday now, looking at those scattered showers, maybe a few storms popping up. Heading into Tuesday afternoon, the threat begins to wane as that ridge builds here midweek. Wednesday, looking dry for much of the prairie, maybe a chance for some showers and storms across central portions of central and northern portions of Alberta back toward the Peace River region, and then heading deeper into Thursday. We may see another system finally move in here late in the week, bringing both warm conditions and the renewed chance for maybe some more significant thunderstorms. We'll talk about that kind of detail with some of our forecast late in the next week. So broadly speaking, the pattern of the next week: heaviest precipitation north of Highway 16, Peace River, Edmonton. You still have the opportunity to pick up an inch of rain here, maybe a little bit more. It'll be, of course, 25 to 50 millimeters of precipitation, again, along and north of Highway 16, but also including Peace River, Edmonton in that area as well. Calgary, you're kind of on the border there, probably going to end up more on the scattered and light variety. As you look at the rest of the prairie, you head off to the east. Manitoba, you get the opportunity for some heavier thunderstorms here, especially over the next 24 hours. So the chance for some heavier precipitation a little bit higher. If there's going to be anywhere here across the ag belt that sees a better chance of picking up an inch of rain, it's going to be the Winnipeg area, with much lower chances for scattered, unevenly distributed, lower precipitation amounts across southern and central portions of Saskatchewan and Alberta. Temperatures over the next 7 days, again, cooling as we head into the weekend and early next week, with the signal right now suggesting we warm back up as we head into the end of the week. And you can see that reflected in our 10-day temperature forecast for some of our select cities here. Calgary, you'll be spending the weekend and early next week in the low 20s, warming up into the mid-20s by midweek. Edmonton, similarly, lower 20s for the next 4 to 5 days, mid-20s by the time we get to the middle part of the week. A more dramatic picture here in Regina. We cool down over the weekend, low 20s for the highs as we get to Monday, climbing back into the mid to upper 20s to near 30 degrees as we get into the mid to late part of the coming week. Same story in Saskatoon. And then here in Winnipeg, here's the little dip over the weekend into early next week. Highs in the lower 20s Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. By the time we get to Wednesday and Thursday, looking at highs climbing back up to near 30 degrees with a renewed chance of some severe thunderstorm activity across the Canadian prairie. Have a great day, a wonderful weekend. Enjoy some of the cooler temperatures because it does look like summer heat and summer storms will be back by the time we get to the end of next week.